Alright, so we got more circles in a coordinate plane, and it's phase 2. Be excited, yeah. Revisit the standard form of equation of a circle. X minus h squared plus y minus k squared equals r squared. Alright, the center point, the center of the circle is hk. Why do they use h and k? I have no clue. No one told me. Radius is r. Why do they use r for radius? No clue. No one told me. And then remember, x and y, those are your variables. Just think about like y equals mx plus b. X and y are your variables. All right? So that's the standard form of equation of a circle. Eerily similar to the distance formula. And I like to think about it just like the distance formula is the length of a segment. Well, radius is a segment. In this equation, since it has variables, allows it to spin around in a circle. That's how I remember it. All right, extreme close-up. Whoa. Given the following graphs of a circle, write the equation in standard form. So boom, we got this point right here. So the center is -2, 2. And then the radius, we could do a bunch of math, or we could just count it. We're lucky in this case. Not all the times can you count it, but this time we were able to count it. It's just 3. So x minus h squared plus y minus k squared equals r squared. Plug in the junk. X minus -2 squared plus y minus 2 squared equals 3 squared. Notice how I'm simplifying. I'm making sure all my signs are correct. Minus h, it was minus -2, became plus 2. All right, silly things like that go a long way. It was positive 2, so when you plug it in, it's going to be a minus 2. You're changing the signs, and then r was 3, and you square it and get 9. But nonetheless, that's that. That's the equation of the circle that we were given. All right, here, center is -2, 0. Again, we're fortunate. It's almost like I did this on purpose, where we could count the radius again. All right, so we got our good friend, the standard form of equation, x minus h squared plus y minus k squared equals r squared. Again, it's all about carefully plugging things in. X minus -2 squared plus y minus 0 squared equals 5 squared. All right, so I just plugged it in with brute force, and now I can focus on simplifying things such as x minus -2 becomes x plus 2 squared plus y squared equals 25. Nice. And then this last one, again, sometimes you need to try things on your own. Technically, you could try like the rest of this page on your own, and then you could watch the video, see how you did. But we got a center of 5, 5, a radius, again, very fortunate, of just 4. So what am I going to do with all this junk? What am I going to do with all this junk, you ask? I'm going to plug it into my circle standard form for equation of a circle. That is what I'm going to do with all that junk. And again, be careful. Be very, very careful. Oops, see? I almost forgot to write r squared. So embarrassing. All right, I bet other math teachers wouldn't forget how to do that. I should be so ashamed of myself. X minus 5 squared plus y minus 5 squared equals 16. Bada bing, bada boom, that's it. We got to know the equation that it's h and k are the center. When you plug it in, you got to change the sign because it's x minus h, y minus k. We know r is the radius. When you plug it in, you got to square it. And just be careful you don't have any sign errors. All right, we did a problem like this to finish the notes last time. So write the equation of a circle with center 4, 3, and a point on the circumference 10, 11. All right, so center 4, 3, some random point 10, 11. All right, so I gotta find the length of the radius, and I'm going to do that by using the distance formula. Remember, identify center. That's step 1. Well, check. That was pretty easy. It literally told us the center. 2 is calculate radius. Now, above was pretty easy. We were fortunate enough to just count. This time we're going to have to use the distance formula. Bum, bum, bum. Keep my x's together, keep my y's together. Pretty please, make sure you don't have any sign errors. I'm going to have 10 minus 4 squared. Don't forget any of the parts. There's a bunch of small, minor parts in this. Again, there's a giant square root. It's plus. Unless I'm plugging in a negative sign, it's a minus. Don't forget the squares. So many parts. All right, and then even once I get this far, I have to be super careful. I don't have any brain farts. Like 10 minus 4 is 6. Don't come up with some other number. 11 minus 3 is 8. So then I'm going to get the giant square root of 36 plus 64, which is the square root of 100, and the square root of 100 is exactly 10. So calculate radius, boom, check. That took forever, but we still did it. And then number 3 is plug it in. All right, not keeping my screen incredibly organized, but I'm just going to plug it in to my standard form for equation of the circle. R was 10, so I got 10 squared. The center is 4, 3. So it's going to be x minus 4 squared plus y minus 3 squared equals 10 squared. And then I'm just going to calculate or simplify the right-hand side. Instead of writing 10 squared, I'm just going to write 100. And that's it. And then here, given the equation of a circle below, we'll point x, y lie within the circle, on the circle, or outside the circle. How can we prove it? Well, I'm going to give you a little hint. 1, 5. I'm a big-time brainiac. I can tell this is going to lie outside. All right? How do I know that? Well, not to sound super nerdy, but I can visualize it. I can see the graph. I can see what this looks like on the graph. I can tell that this is going to be outside the graph. Maybe you're thinking I'm a big-time nerd because I can visualize it. Or you can algebraically plug it in. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to plug in 1 and 5. Remember, x, y, 1, 5. So x, 1 squared, y, 5 squared. And I'm not going to write equals. I'm going to compare it. All right, so how can I prove it? Plug in x, y, compare to r squared. Because remember, 25 is r squared. It's not the radius, it's the radius squared. So I'm going to get 1 squared is 1, 5 squared is 25, so I'm going to get 26. Since I plugged it in and got a bigger number, it's outside. And if you want to know more information about this, stay tuned for the next video.